Hello there, welcome to my hobby bench. My name is Ken, and today we're going to continue on working on our AMT 1/350th scale Klingon Bird of Prey. For this video, we're going to start off working on our windows here. When we last left off, we had cleaned them all out. And now I'm going to be taking some UV resin here. I think this is just a cheap brand from Amazon, possibly. And I'll take a UV flashlight, and I can use that to put UV resin in the windows and fill them in. So I've done a few already. And I don't know if we can see. I'll just zoom in here. If my camera will focus, there we go. So this one here is already filled in. And I did a few others on a few other pieces. So I'm going to take our UV resin and we'll continue filling on the rest of these windows. Alright, so here we're going to start up here with our top of our bridge area of the Bird of Prey. What I have here is some resin tape. It's meant to seal in one side so that the light can pass through it and still affect the resin. So what I'm going to be doing is just doing this in small sections, so I'm not worried about compound curves or anything like that. So I'll take some of my UV tape and we'll start down in here in this little window. So what I'll do is I'll cover it up from this side, just like that. Make sure it's sealed nicely. I usually keep my finger on the other side now, just probably due to lack of experience with UV resin, just because I don't know what to expect. So I'm going to take my UV resin here, and I'm going to put it in there like that. I'm going to come along with a toothpick, just like that. And I'm going to kind of start poking around in there, make sure there's no air bubbles in there. That's really something I don't want. You can see I got way too much UV resin, but I'll spread it around, just like that. Then I'll come in with my UV flashlight. There we go. And I'll just shine this on here for just a little bit here, probably about 10 seconds at least. There we go. Just gonna check. Yeah, it hardened up. There we go. But I can come in on this side too, I believe. And shine through the resin tape. There we go. Now we can take this piece of tape off, just like that. And as you can probably see now, oops, we have a window. Looks like I did have a little bubble there, but I am not going to worry about it that much. I don't think it's that noticeable. So let's go on to our next window. We'll take our next little piece of tape and we'll do this set of windows right here. Pushing into place real well. I again like to keep a finger there. Take our UV resin. There we go. That's a little bit better, a little bit less. Again, I'm just gonna kind of push it in there, move it around, make sure, see if I can get any air bubbles out that shouldn't be there. So, there we go. Okay. Again, come in with our UV light. I'll try that. Yep. Let's see, that's good. We'll come in from this side now. Now I've heard it said before using the UV resin you can warm it up a bit. So that's something to keep in mind. I know you could just put it in a coffee cup full of warm water or hot water. That should warm it up. Okay. Now this one here, I have some big air bubbles. Like really deep. So what I could try to do, I don't know how wise this is or is not. Put a little bit there. Should I stuff it down in there? And on that side as well. Now, I'm going to take a gently moistened Q-tip. Again, this is new for me. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or not. Like that, and I think I took too much out. Attempt 2, there we go. Again, a very little amount. Now, some of you may be used to using UV resin and are shaking your head at me, and I apologize for that. I kind of a newbie to it. There we go. Still a little bit tacky. I'm probably not using a high quality resin, I don't know. Much better. Now I should be able to take and scrape away some of the excess, because the UV is not rock solid yet. Let's make sure I'm on camera here. Maybe I did cure it too hard. Well, that's okay, I could always sand it off later. There we go, hopefully that's doing it. Yeah, that is kind of doing it. Just like that. There we go, 2 more windows in. Okay, I'm gonna carry on doing the rest of these windows and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Alright, I have my windows all done up here, as you can see, and I think they turned out really well. Now, if you don't want to mess with the UV resin, another option you could go for is don't fill the windows in to start with. Paint your model, being careful of your windows. And then after you come along, you can use a white glue or, for example, microcrystal clear. And you just take it on a little toothpick. And all you're going to do is dip some in and then just run it in the little window hole so it fills up the entire thing, and then just let it dry. Don't use too much. You don't want it all slowly running down, but just enough that it fills the hole. And the good thing with micro crystal clear is that it cleans up with just water. And if you do mess up, you could always come in and then just pick it out again with the toothpick and then just put it in again. The downside with it is, though, you're stuck with whatever window kind of shape you would cut out. So if your shape was off a little bit, you're stuck with that. With the UV resin here now, when I come along before painting, I can mask the windows off with an exact shape, and then that exact shape will be the only part that is covered up and allowed to show light through at the end. The stuff that's not masked, like if it's on a very edge, will actually get covered by paint. So, alright, now that we've done that, we're going to move over to, which I've actually already started, the photon torpedo launcher in here. And I've got this ring around here where as you remember, I cut out all these slots here. So I'm going to keep filling these with UV resin, just doing the same thing, just putting the UV tape over each hole, one at a time, and then putting UV resin in there, and then just taking the UV light and curing it. So I'm going to show you one here, and then we'll keep going. Oh, also of note, there are 2 windows down here on each side that I did complete. So, alright, so again, this is a little bit trickier, I found, because the surface is a little more uneven on the photon torpedo emitter. I'll go for this bottom one down here. I probably can get 2 out of the way. Yeah, see, the tape doesn't want to stick too well there. So I got to press down really hard and keep the pressure there. There we go, there and there. So I hope you can see here. I'm going to be going for these 2 holes right here and here. Okay, so take my UV resin, try not to spill it everywhere. Just a little bit in there. We'll try to do these 2. And take my toothpick, and then I'm going to try and make sure both holes are full of the resin and that there are no air bubbles in there. Odds are I'm going to get air bubbles. I seem to maybe need to change my resins or something. Try heating it maybe some more in some warm water or something. But that should be good. We'll try that. We'll come in with our UV light. Okay, and we'll just hold it here. With this, I normally seem to count to probably, I think, about 10. Then I bring it off. Flip it over carefully. Oh, see, the tape didn't even stick. I think that's just due to the contours around this area. So that's going to mean some of it came off on this tape, and I'm going to need to do a little bit of refilling, which is fine. I have the same issue with some of these other ones. Again, I'm not an expert with UV resin. Kind of my first project really using it. Okay, that should be good. I'll just take this UV resin tape, spill it off. We'll come in here and we'll take a look. Yeah, it's dry. Just needs to be cleaned up a bit. Now, like that. So you can see, at this point, it's not so hard yet that I can't peel off the anything extra that's. Let's see if I can zoom in. Anything extra that's kind of started to dry on the surface. So, if you can see that there, just pick that off, remove it. Let's see if any more new stuff came. Yeah, it trickled down through there. So that's all I'm doing, just going through, cleaning up. And I'm going to go around now, try to do the rest best I can, then we'll come back, take a look, and then at that point we'll look at refilling any of these that didn't fill up all the way. I pulled off that skin pretty much, so I do need to come back in here with my light before I carry on. So I'll do that, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to fix the holes. As you can see here, I've managed to get some UV resin in each of these little holes for around our photon torpedo launcher. I have warmed this up a little bit, my UV resin, and I'm going to come along. You can see there's a few indented areas here, and a couple little ones maybe around here. So I'm going to come in with just a touch of the UV into each one at a time, or maybe two at a time, we'll see, and then we'll clean it up, and hopefully we'll have a more acceptable job. So we'll get the UV resin out. And my apologies if you hear me call it UV glue. It's not. It's UV resin. I know I said it once to somebody, and just an off chance I say it again, I apologize for any confusion that causes. Let's put just a little hair more. Yeah, it definitely runs a little bit better now that I've warmed it up again. Okay. I'll come in here with my UV light. Now I give it about 10 seconds for the curing time at least, or more. I don't know if more is a good or a bad thing, but it seems to work. And you know, your times are going to vary with you and whatever UV resin you're using, and you know, what kind of light you're using, that sort of thing. So I'll come in here, touch it with my blade. Yeah, it's solid. And I'm going to come along and I'm going to kind of clean up anything that's kind of spill over like that. I don't know if you can, oh, not even on camera, my apologies. So just like that, there's a little bit of spill over. So we'll carve that back and away. Just like that. If I can, I'll come in here and flatten this out a little bit. We don't want it round and bulging for when I go to put the photo etch on. That could cause an issue. And if I can't scrape enough to flatten it off, you can always come in here with a sander, or probably better to have a metal file and flatten it off, but it seems to be working. There we go. And anything extra again, we'll try to pick away. I guess if it's in between, it shouldn't be too much of a problem with the photo etch going over it. But better safe than sorry. There we go. And we'll move on to the next one. Those two aren't too bad. I can see what I can do. Just a littlest bit. Like that. Spread it around. Get into those little divots. Maybe let's add a little bit more. Yes, definitely warm it up. I just stuck it in my armpit for 5 minutes while watching something on YouTube. There we go. And yeah, and pulled it out of my armpit afterwards, and it was a little bit warmer, and it's running a little bit thinner, so that's good. There we go. Again. Let's make sure that's dry. Yep. I'll come along here and remove the excess. Just like that. There we go. Kind of going across like a sawing motion almost. Just long strokes like that. Come back over here. Trying to remove this one part. There we go. That one's looking better. Like that, and we'll carry on with this one. Same thing. Now, experts or people who deal with this UV resin a lot more than I do may say that I'm doing this wrong, and that may be. But as long as it works, I guess, and I'm happy with the results, then we're all good. There we go. Is that one done now? That's not bad. Maybe a little bit more there. Definitely a little bit more down in these three. Okay, let's try that. Again, nice. Ooh, that was a lot, so I'll spread it between all three. I wasn't going to do all three, but I ended up with enough resin to do all three, I'm sure. There we go. Make sure each one's filled up. No big air bubbles or anything. There we go. Now, an option I could have done while using the UV resin would have been to take some and mix it with a little bit of red paint. And that would have made some really nice red lens type effects in the on this ring here. So, but I didn't. But keep that in mind. I'm thinking I'm just going to put a red light behind here, or a few red lights, just to get that effect. I guess technically you could do the same thing with the center here if you wanted to. You could put the cover that comes, the clear part, you could paint that red as well. Alright, I'm just going to do a little bit more resin up here. There we go, that was a nice small amount. And I'll do this one here. Again, a nice small amount, but make sure it's all in the right place. It's just a little bit more maybe. Always seems like that. There we go. This is the tiniest of drops. Alternatively, I guess I could put some down on a piece of tape or something and then use the toothpick to just pick up little bits. That'd probably be safer. But I don't know, I trust my skills, so here's hoping. Alright. Okay, there we go. It was a bit of a shorter time. I'll see if that allows me to scrape a little easier. Make sure I'm on camera. Yeah. And just to be safe, I'm going to hit it with just a little bit more UV light. Just in case there was something down deep in there that I missed. There we go. I think once it's kind of sat around for a while, it seems to harden up a little bit more. Again, it could be the quality of resin I'm using, that it doesn't solidify perfectly the first time. But I think that's good on this for now. I'm relatively happy with it. I think once it's, like I said, gone off a little bit more, I'll probably come in here with a bit of a sanding or polishing stick and clean it up a little bit more. We'll see how it goes. For the next thing though, I think we need to look at now is lights. Okay, what we have here is our Tena Controls lighting board. Now this is actually for the 350 Katinga, but that's okay because this has a few of the items I'm going to need with the photon effect and everything else. So I'm going to pull all this out. We get a power cord or a circuit board in here. And looks like our shrink tubing and lights and buttons. And then we have our instructions. So we can put this aside for now because not much to talk about there. Let's look at our board. All right. So here we have our board. And we can see it's already been wired up. So it's got wires ready to go to all the different parts of the ship and for the things that they're going to do. We'll have to look through our instructions to see what all those things are. So it's important they have for the boards from Tena Controls, a lot of them have a Type A or a Type B. This looks like this is a version A. And I'm just looking to see. All right, so that's our board. What we'll do now is we'll look at everything we get in this bag here and see. It says white LED on the bag. I don't know if that's just, I guess maybe for some of the stuff. Right there. So white LED strip right here. Red LED strip right here. We have the plug-in adapter here for the power supply. I'll put that over with the power supply. We have a bunch of shrink tubing right here. We have some sort of connector, wire, cabling material. I'm sorry, I don't really know what this is called. I'm not a electronics kind of guy. Then we have our two buttons right there with, I believe these go with that. Maybe. Not too sure. Anyway, so we have the two buttons, two washers. Okay, now we have red LED flat tops right here. And we have 5 in the bag. And then we have some other LEDs. We have our white LEDs, a bag full. Hopefully more than we'll need. And again, with the red LEDs, these are larger. I don't know if these are 3mm or what size they are. Doesn't say. It'll probably say in the instructions. We have rear torpedo LEDs right here, and front torpedo LEDs. Well, our ship only has a front torpedo, so that'll be right here. So I'll take the rear torpedo LEDs and I'll put them back in this bag here for now. Now, let's see what we have. So wiring diagram. To power up the lighting kit, you need to use 9-volt DC wall adapter supplied with this kit. Okay, so I have my wires here for my power supply. I have it set at 12 volts, but let's drop it now down to 9. All right, so now that's set at 9. Okay, so items included with option B. Okay. First of all, what we're going to need is a soldering iron. I do have. Need a solder, I have the solder. I need a cutter. I have wire cutters. And I'm going to need a wire stripper, and I have a wire stripper. So that's good there. Okay, so I guess we should have one momentary switch, which I guess is one of these. All right, 9-volt DC adapter, which is right here. One control board right here. The speaker is in a box over there, which is right here. Okay. Shrink tubing, yes. Flat ribbon cable right here. Wiring instructions right here in my hand. 4 torpedo LEDs. Well, I guess between front and rear. Looks like that's what we have. Two navigation LEDs. Not too sure what that would be. Could be these smaller white LEDs. 2 strobe LEDs. Again, I don't know if they're the whites or what. 2 impulse LEDs. 3 LED strips pre-wired. So it looks like there's 2 strips in here and 1 strip here, both pre-wired. And 13 ship illumination LEDs. I believe we have lots. Okay. Now, to be honest, I've never used a Tena Controls board. I own a couple of them, but I have yet to install them. But as you may be able to see here, a digital version of this manual can be requested via email. So we're going to go through this. Please review the video link below, as it will assist you in wiring of LEDs to their respective locations. Additionally, Tena Controls has pre-wired the enclosed LED strips for your convenience. Please request digital manual to get access to the instruction video. If you have any issues, go getting to YouTube video, and it gives a link. And then it talks about how to distinguish your LEDs. So if we zoom in, you can see the shorter end is the negative cathode, and the long is anode or positive. Let's see, important. Different cable companies have swapped the green and white wire locations on the JST connector. Below are 2 pictures showing the wires and their locations. When you get your board, you will need to look and see which connector type you received. Use wiring sheets that are only for connector A, or use the wiring sheets only that are for connector B. Sorry for this inconvenience, although this is out of our control. Alright. So, position and wire colors from company A and position and wire colors from company B. So we will take a look. Now, I thought that's maybe what this meant here, the A. So we can sit here and we can look. So company A has red, black, yellow, green, blue, white, orange, brown, or purple. And you can see here it's red, black, yellow, and then white instead of green. And then the blue, then the green, not the white, then the orange, and then the brown or purple. So the difference is just where the green and the white may have switched. So, if I look, you can see here we've got red, black, yellow, then we have our white right there. I'll grab something to point. I'll turn on a little bit more light. Okay. So, we have our red. See, from what I can see, we have company B. So we have red, then black, then yellow. Then we have the white. Black, yellow, white. Whereas this is black, yellow, green. So black, yellow, white. Then we have the blue, then the green, then the orange, and then it looks like brown or purple. Looks like purple. Now is that something that's for all? Looks like. Looking here, looks like the white comes before the green. So again, red, black, yellow, white, blue, then the green, orange, purple. And just for sake of peace of mind, we will look at this one again, starting with the red side, up, and we'll go down, and again, yes. So it is the red, black, yellow, white first, blue, then the green, then the orange, then the purple. So that's the ones we have. We have the wire from company B. Okay. So that's good to know. I could actually, well, do I have a pen here? At the hobby desk. Okay. So we have company B. That's who we have. Mark it just in case I don't come back to this for a week, for example, or something like that, and I forget. So, connector 2. We do go red, black, yellow, green. No, we go the other way. We have our white there. But they are just showing the board and where the connectors go. So, if we line this up, you can see, just like that. There's our board. Looks a little different, so yeah. This is revision C. And we have A. Company connector A. B. Wiring company. Okay, so I don't think it really matters for the wiring type, as long as we know which one's going to be the green and which one's going to keep being the white. But there's our board. Yeah, so ours looks a little different due to the revision. Ours is Rev A, this is Rev C, but it gives you the idea. So this is connector 1, this is connector 2, this is connector 3, and does the board say that? Let's see here. Connector 2 is written right here. Sorry, not on camera. So connector 2 is written right here on the card. Connector 3 is written over here on this one. There we go. And connector 1 is written right here beside this one. So we are good that way. It is all labeled. So that's good to know. Okay, company A wiring connectors. Now we have company B, so we'll skip the company A. We'll go to company B, which is where our white comes out before the green. All right. So connector 1, right here. So the red just kind of goes off over here. The black comes in, and it goes to a couple the impulse engines. Okay, so LED 9 and 10. Now I've heard it mentioned that the impulse engines for this bird of prey from what I've heard, is actually these two shoulder bits here that will be glowing red. That's what I've heard. So there's nowhere else to show impulse engines really, so that's what I'll be going with. And these will be red lights again. Okay, so that's black. Then the next up would be the yellow. Okay, so the yellow is the positive side of the speaker. So that's where our yellow is going to go, is in the speaker. Our white will go to red wire on connector number 2. Okay, so but first we're going to have, okay, it's going to go to our white LED strips and a red LED strip. Okay. White LEDs and red LEDs. All right. So we get those attached apparently with black wire to our oh yeah, sorry, never mind. So the again, I'm not a electrical kind of guy, so it's going to have here the negative side and the positive side to our LED strips, right? So the black wires are the negative and the positive wires are the red wires. So that's just what to know for when you're dealing with these LED strips. Okay. And then they'll come off of there and they'll go to the red wire on connector 2 when we get down to connector 2. If we look at connector 2, the red is over here, it's a positive, and we have the positive going to follow up with the positive and back into the board. Okay. Then that'll finish off our loop on that. Just like the impulse engines are coming off, and the black wire off of here, and we'll have the black wire on this going to connector 2. Black wire on number 2. So number 2 is a negative. Okay. So the negative will be coming out, going back in here, and coming back into the board, as far as how I understand it. Then we have our blue wire, which is going off over here to the navigation lights. A couple of LEDs, 1 and 2. And that's going to come off over here and join up with all these other ones that are, looks like their negatives are all going to the same place. So, which is also going to be the green wire, which is going to be our engine switch. Okay, which will then go off to the black wire on connector 2. Our orange will go to our torpedo switch, which will then go back to the black wire on connector 2. So it looks like these are switchable items, torpedoes and engines. Okay, and that'll be it for that for connector 1. Connector 2, we have here the red wire will be going to the DC power, the 9-volt DC power, right here. So that's where it's going to come in, I guess. And then we got the black wire here, the negative, which is coming back into connector 2, which looks like it also is following back up with these wires here from the purple or brown to become the negative going back into the board. So next up we have our yellows, which will be all these different LEDs. And it's just saying static white LEDs, so I guess this is just for in and around the ship. And then again, they'll all negative off, and the negatives will go back down to the black. The white wire here will go to the front torpedo with its positive side and its negative side. Negative again going off to our black. It looks like the blue, green, and orange are not used on connector 2. In our case, the purple will have the strobe lights coming off. And that's going to be the positive sides for the strobe lights, and then the negatives coming off again and folding back in. So that's that for connector 2. And then here they're talking about our jack point, I guess, for attaching our power. And then how the short side is the positive on this. Okay. So there is our positive right there. Carry on here. Let's see what else they have us doing. Okay, connector 3. So we have our red. It's going to be our rear torpedo. We won't be needing that. So I think I can eliminate that altogether. So red. Yeah, because the only thing it's doing is rear torpedo and then exiting back to the black wire on connector 2, which we know is our negative out. So we can basically all do that and just cross it out. So we're not doing that. Okay, then our black wire here is going to come off and go to static red LEDs. So LED number 11, 22, and 23. Again, the black will go to the positive sides on this, and then it'll come back to the main black wire going back to out to the connector, black wire and connector 2. Then we have our yellow coming up, and it goes to the front tube illumination. So for this kit, that is going to be these rings around here on the photon torpedo launcher, emitter, whatever you want to call it. So that'll be the front illumination tube, and then it'll go back to going out to the black. Alright, next we have our white. It looks like it does not get used. Our blue will not get used. Our green will then come up here and be used for static white lights. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. All those will be static white lights, which will come in, and then they'll all negative out to back to connector 2 on the black wire there. And then we have our orange right here, which is the negative side for the speaker, which you can remember was attached to the yellow wire, came off to the positive from connector 1. Then we have finally our brown or purple, which black goes to the black wire on the connector after doing the rear tube illumination, which we know we're not doing a rear torpedo because the ship does not have one, so we know we can illuminate that light as well. So that's what we have. Alright, instructions, optional strobes. So it talks about 2 white 3mm LEDs, LED 3, 4, the 2 cathodes, negatives of the strobes, and it talks about connecting to black wire. Alright. Navigations, front torpedo, rear torpedo, we don't need. It talks about the speaker down here. Press switch once to activate the 3 front torpedo blast. And then press switch twice to activate the single rear torpedo blast. Well, we won't be doing rears. Alright. And then here we have, again, talks more about the impulse engines, the static lights on them, has a few things highlighted, so we'll have to note those. And it shows here on the ship where these areas are. So where when I said these LED numbers, where they go. So some of them are going to get chopped out of here. They're not going to get used. I'm not going to need that many white lights to light up the interior of the ship. It's much smaller. And then again on the back, we just have the one main engine on the back. Right here. Oh, you know what? I think the impulse is going to count for what's at the very back of the ship, not what's under those shoulders. Under the shoulders will still be red, but I think we're going to be making these red LEDs here the engine, which is going to be sitting at the very back here. So that's what actually our impulse is going to be. And then it talks about front. You got your LED 5 and 6 there for your torpedo launcher. It talks about front windows. I'm not gonna worry about that. And then place LED 25 and 26, and then the cells, which we don't really have on this ship. So I think that's it. I think we have this figured out, and then we have our warranty. So I'm going to quickly go through the instructions part here, and we'll see if we pick up anything that's might trip us up. Okay, to add power to our board, what it says is connector 1 and 2, or connectors go to the red and the black of our connector 2. So I have, remember this top one here is connector 2, this is 1 and this is 3. So connector 2, and our 9-volt DC positive and negative are the black and the red on this connector 2. So I'm going to turn my power supply off before I go to connect, because I'm not 100% certain on everything. We will connect our black right here, and we'll connect our red right here. Just make sure I'm actually touching the metal, not the plastic. Okay, let's try it. We have our 9 volts. It's now drawing 3 amps, or no, sorry, 0.03 amps, which before was 0 when I had the power on, and it was not connected to anything. So there we can see we are drawing power. At least that's how I see it in my mind. Let's try connecting our speaker temporarily and the photon torpedo button, and we'll see if this works. Now, which is positive, there we go. So I'm looking at my speaker here. You can see here, stamped in here, it's not colored or anything, it's just stamped in here, the positive and negative right there and there. So, what we will do, if we look at our speaker, it is on connector 1 again. Sorry, connector 1 for the first time. We haven't used connector 1 yet. To the yellow. Okay. So connector 2, the yellow goes to the positive. All right, I am a terrible solderer. I just realized. Okay. Now we'll take from connector 2, no, connector 3, I believe it's the orange wire. Speaker, connector 3, orange wire. Yes, it is. Okay. So, connector 3, as you can see, is way down here over here by itself, connector 3. If you can see that, right there, connector 3. Take our orange wire, and again, we will try to see if I can solder. All right. Let us get the soldering iron out. Get some solder melted in place. There we go. Try not to breathe in the fumes. And much better solder there. Okay. So there we go, and we now have our speaker wired up like that. Now we need to find where our button goes for our photon torpedoes. torpedo switch right here. So on connector 1, we need the orange wire, and it's going to go to the black connector on number 2. So we go for, what did I say it was? Orange on number 1. So again, number 1 is right here, and the orange on there comes over here. So we'll connect like that. Now, is there a positive and negative on these switches? That I do not know. I cannot say, I do not know. But we'll see what we can do with what we got. There we go, that's one. Now, the other side, it goes to the black on number 2, I believe. Yeah, torpedo switch goes to the black on number 2. So, on number 2, right up here, is the black. Yeah, which basically means it's going to go to the negative. So I just need a piece of wire. There we go, it's on. Now I just need to trim a little bit with my fingernail. Back to here, back to black. We'll connect that to our negative. Okay, let's try that. So, what we're going to do is try not to blow anything up. Turn on our power, 9 volts. Looking good. And we'll see. Nothing. There we go. Now we have 3 amps, or 0.003 amps being used. I wasn't before, so I don't think I had a good connection. And nothing. Oh, there it goes. Nice. So, it should do 3. There we go. We've got our yellow from connector 2, from connector 1 going to our speaker. We have our orange from connector 3 going to the negative. The yellow was going to the positive. And then over here we have our orange here going to the positive of the button we're using. And then we have the negative. I just have a random wire I got from my other spool, and we're connecting that back to the, we have our positive and negative power coming in. We'll connect that. I press, I wait. There we go. So I guess that waiting time is for that light to ramp up. And then it'll fire the 3 torpedoes. There's the 3 torpedoes. And then our light would ramp down on the ring. So there we go. It's hopefully the rest of this is going to be that easy. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, I think my next step is going to have to do is going to figure out everywhere on the ship where I'm going to need to put these lights. So let's take a look at that. So the question now is, where are all the lights on this kit? And another question to ask is, can this card go into the model? Well, I'm going to say it probably won't fit. No, it won't fit. Unless you carve off a little bit of maybe the corners, but I don't think I would be willing to risk it. You know, maybe a tight fit, but then you're going to be interfering with where your lights go back here. So I'm going to say it's a no. I still have my speaker soldered to it. That's okay. But so for lights on the kit and positions, well, we know for sure we need those ramp up lights are going to go right around here on this photon torpedo tube. Then we have one of those lights for the actual photon torpedo tube itself. So that's an easy one. The windows here, right there, and on this side here will be illuminated just by general lighting in the bridge section, which we know we'll need a light for these windows around the top here, 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 here and here, but some of them will probably be blacked out. So we'll need some white light up there, we'll need the red ring here, and we'll need the firing light here. Now if you do look at the torpedoes for a Klingon Bird of Prey, a lot of the footage shows it being a green torpedo as opposed to the more for the Katinga. The Katinga has the red firing, I think is from seen in the motion picture. So we would need a green torpedo for that. Although if you watch Star Trek, I want to say Star Trek The Undiscovered Country, I believe that one there they're firing red torpedoes. So, you know, either way, option's yours. So we know we need to either swap that to green or keep it red. We have the red that's going to go around for here. We'll put a little cone around this to protect these windows from seeing the red. Right? And then it'll collect just the white light that's illuminating in here. We know we're going to need light here for up here, these windows. And then this here is also a little navigation or strobe light or something. So we'll put one of those up in here. We'll flatten this out, drill a little hole, and we'll be able to insert our light here. And then the only other thing on the top here is going to be our engine section back here. Now, there are other windows up here, but I don't really see them lit. I could light them myself though and just say, you know what, it's my model. I do what I want, and I might just do that. So there'll be those as options as well, and it would just take just a little white light up in there, I think. And yeah, I think it can make a nice difference. We'll see. So we'll count it as that I am, so just so we know what we need for lights. So again, we have the two for the torpedoes. We have white light for in here, be it a couple or a bit of strip or whatever the case is going to be. Then we're going to have our light for up here, these windows. We'll have a strobe or a nav light here, a white one, I guess. And then we'll have a couple lights here. And then we'll have our two impulse engines off the instructions. We'll use the lights for the two to light the one in the back here, the one central engine. Flipping over, we're going to need light coming through here. Now, I might just, I have several options. Option one, my least favorite, is build a couple little light boxes here and then throw a red light in there because we do have extra red lights. And then put some sort of red film over top of this as well and go that way. Option two, I like a little bit better. I do put the film in there, but make it a very dark, deep tinted red so that the light for the front, the white light coming through definitely looks red, not pink or anything like that. So we'll have that. It will give us the need for fewer lights if we don't go for option A. If we go for option B with just putting the diffusing material is probably what I'll use, painted red. And then that should hopefully save us some lights. So most likely what I'm going to do. And then we have our wings. Our wings have two lights on each one, but they're already in place. Now the thing with the wings are, the lights I used are pre-resisted. However, the board is also resisted as well. So what I would do is I would just take these and I would cut off the resistor right here. on the, gives you lots of still space to run this right into the body of the ship. And I think that would be our best bet, and just run it off the board's power. So I think that's what I'll be doing with that, instead of trying to run a separate power source for the wings. Also, did I mention, okay, so right down here at the bottom of, I believe this is a photon torpedo magazine here, but I believe there's supposed to be a little white light here as well in the center, so we'll look at that. And I believe that's all the lights I'm going to be needing, I hope. If I find any more spots where more lights will go, I will definitely make note of it and find something to put in its place. But with the amount of LED lights we get with this set, I'm sure it won't be an issue, and I'll probably have a few extras kicking around afterwards. So I think that's all we need to know. I think that's we're going to end this video for today. We've kind of learned a lot. We've got our windows completed today, and we've got our sound card, our lighting board. We know it's working because we do have the sound, so that's good. Another thing that we'll have to do in the future is take our lights and then get them all wired up and then test the system for 24 hours to look for any light failures. But for now, I'll wrap it up here, and we'll come back next time and continue working on our bird of prey. So thanks for watching. I know there's many of you who stick it out to the end, which is good to see. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you coming along on this journey with me in an attempt to build and light this model. So you take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.